Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays for you in the Soviet Tier 10 Tech Tree Heavy Tank, the ST2. Now these are 3 pretty damn nice games that I've had in the ST2 as we've been going along, and that is because I have thoroughly enjoyed this vehicle. I really have. It's one of those vehicles that I have absolutely clicked with. I've had a great time with it. I mean, so far I've played, 30 battles in it, I think it's so far, and it's just been a joy to play. Yes, it is a lot slower than the Tier 8 and 9, because the Tier 8 and 9 are actually fairly mobile. This tank does have a pretty decent top speed at 40 kilometers an hour, but to be perfectly honest, you just don't hit 40 kph unless you're actually going downhill. It just doesn't happen. You've only got 11.04 power to weight ratio, which means that, yeah, genuinely, you just don't hit that top speed whatsoever. So most of the time, you're going to be comfortably doing between 28 to 33, probably, round and abouts. That was an artillery AP shell. You can see me going, hang on a minute. I can physically see me going, that was an AP shell. Oh, that was ambitious. Anyway, yeah, so I've thoroughly enjoyed this tank. Like I said, the mobility is lackluster. It is slow, but the turret armor is really quite nice on this tank. You do have to be careful of the cupola on the... If someone is looking at you, the left-hand side, but you can just see it sticking out on the right-hand side of the turret. You do have to be careful of that. If people have fairly high penetration guns, they can go through that little cupola that sticks out. So be careful of that. The hull armor is not very good on the lower plate, naturally. That's just the way it is. The upper plate is pretty good, but it sort of gets penned by premium rounds a fair amount, so you've got to be very careful of the types of tanks you're facing, because naturally if you're facing a Tier 9 that's got about 280, 290 pen on its APC, or its premium rounds, I should say, its likelihood is it could actually bounce on your upper plate. But if you're facing a lot of the Tier 10s where they've got 340 heat and stuff like that, or they've got like 300 plus pen and they're starting to look down on your upper plate a little bit, it's going to be game over for your armor. It's going to get penned pretty easily, so you've got to be very, very careful. You do have the strength, though, of this tank, which is, oh boy, double barreling. The double barrel is beautiful because you've got the ability to dish out 880 damage in one little salvo, which is beautiful. And then for situations like you're seeing in front of your face, you can just fire single shot. And if you are fully loaded, it means that basically the damage output that you put out to start off with is really, really fast. Then your reload is a little bit slow at 988 for 440. Just a little bit. It's not extremely slow, but it's a little bit slow, which means that in this sort of situation, something like an E5 out DPMs me massively. But then obviously I have the ability to stock up 2 shots and then to double barrel at some point when I want to. And it's all about managing this reload sometimes with this tank, really, and with the others, really, as well. And that is that managing the fact that when you need to double shot, you can double shot, and when not to double shot. When to just hold on and wait. So right there with that shot on the E5, by the way, you might be thinking, oh, why didn't you just wait to shoot him in the bottom? Well, I wanted to track him. I wanted to track him around the corner, and then I'd be able to reload and put the shot in to finish him off. Unfortunately, what we actually did is tracked the E5 and didn't pen it, so the whole exercise was fairly pointless. We're now looking for a shot into that 114 SP2, which we're getting, and yeah, no, this gun, like I say, is pretty damn nice as well. That is another benefit to this ST2. It's the same as the IS-32 and the IS-22, or the IS Desmond 22, and that is that while your base accuracy isn't that great, you've got a fairly long aim time. With the setup, I've got a 2.1 second aim. 2.71 second aim time, sorry, which, yeah, is fairly long. But to be perfectly honest, the gun handling on this tank is great. What you're seeing in these replays is no gun stabilizer, and it's just how the gun handles. It honestly doesn't handle that bad whatsoever. And it's a really, really nice thing for the tank. And obviously, as well, that's very un-Soviet-like. You have 8 degrees of gun depression, which means you can use a ridgeline really easily as well. And, yeah, I've really loved this ST2. It's been a lot of fun to play. So, what do I run in terms of a crew on the old ST2? Well, on the ST2, I run Ball Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Trap Mechanic, Run and Gun, Snapshot, Armour Angling. Armour Angling because I'm actually using a build to reduce the amount of damage that is coming into the tank so that I can keep dishing out the damage quite quickly, and then also, if I'm taking hits, I'm reducing the amount of damage that they're taking by 10%, because Armour Angling reduces it by 5%, and then I've got the advanced armor as well, which does the same thing. So yeah, I'm reducing the damage coming into me by a lot. You don't have to do that, but it's very little chance to use that kind of meme build like that on most tanks, but because this tank just doesn't need gun stabilizer, the gun is good enough that you don't need it, then I can run something like advanced armor. I didn't feel enough of a benefit out of powertrain to give me better top speed and give me that extra oomph in the engine to get up to the top speed. I didn't feel the benefit of it that much. Obviously, yes, there was a benefit, but I didn't feel it that greatly. So I decided, okay, you know what, I'm just going to go with the fact that I am slow, and I'm going to make it so that obviously the damage coming into my tank is a lot less, and I can go with that meme instead. And then all the gun perks, because, well, you aren't running the gun stabilizer, so naturally you're going to still make the gun better in most of the ways. And the reason the gun is so good is because you've got 0.36 accuracy during rotation with this build, which is absolutely fantastic. And that means that you're... And with 1.55 on the move as well, it just means that the gun does not bloom out whatsoever. And it's just beautiful. It's the thing that all these double barrels have had, which means that you just generally don't need it that much, which is... It's lovely. You don't have to worry about the gun handling too much. Obviously, over distance, you're going to find that the distance shooting isn't quite as nice because, well, you don't have the best accuracy over the 500 meters or whatever. But, yeah. And in terms of equipment, I run the vents, the advanced armor, and optics. Optics to be able to spot for myself, because I get my view range up with the optics and the vents and situational awareness born leader up to 510 meters of view range, which is beautiful. And that means I can spot for myself fantastically. It's not that often that you truly get outspotted unless you're facing a tank like a Tyran that you've got in front of us over here that has phenomenal camo as well as having good view range. So... yeah, having that view range is fantastic. The vents, of course, helps the DPM, helps that get better, because you can't run a loader on the double barrels. It helps the DPM get better, it helps the view range, it helps the accuracy, it helps everything in general, which is nice. And the advanced armor, like I've said with the armor angling, I'd only ever run advanced armor if you can also run armor angling, so that you get that full 10% bonus as opposed to the 5%, I said 10% bonus, that 10% reduction in damage that enemies can deal to you when they penetrate you, which... it is a nice meme to have. And there is a lot of situations where you take hits and say it's an E4 hitting you with 850, it just hits you for like 690 and you're like, nice. Or, you know, like it hits you for 750. More often it's going to hit for 750 to 800. But that's a massive reduction in the damage anyway, for saying that thing's got 850, for example, and it can roll up to 1,000 quite easily. So... yeah, it's a nice meme to have. Let's say, would I recommend kitting that out on most tanks? No. But if you have the ability to run that meme, sometimes it's quite nice. So this first game is on Mountain Pass, and there's one tank left. The medium tank's crested round at B3. The medium tank hasn't been spotted, which makes me go, okay, he's up there. And we slap the shot in to that back chat as soon as he got spotted. It was the only place that back chat could be. I was ready for it, and as soon as he got spotted, we went yoink, and thank you for the kill. We finished the game with 5 kills, 7.3k damage, 889 assistance, the 2.5k block, the first class steel wall, the high caliber, 1780 base XP, a really nice game there for the ST2. And that game showed off the niceness of the tank in general, because the gun handling was nice. I mean, the fact is, we were on the move with the shot on the back chat at 300 meters, and it went straight in. The armor worked well enough. I mean, we were fighting an E5 that was firing heat. Obviously, as soon as we got ourselves exposed too much there, we were taking shots from the 114 SP2 firing premium, and my armor did start to go downhill very, very quickly. But we just managed to get out of that situation, just pumping the damage out consistently. And that is what the ST2 does. And yeah, it's the consistency of the damage. It's one of those things that I've not had too many tanks that I do genuinely feel like I can just be super consistent in what I do with it. I mean, there's not in tanks that are not broken, right? Because the AAT-60, for example, the Tier 9 premium tank destroyer, is just stupidly OP. It is stupidly OP. I know what I can do with that tank. I know I can be extremely consistent with it, and I can just push out stupid amounts of damage, because it's basically a Tier 10 medium tank, but classified as a Tier 9 tank destroyer, right? That's just the way it feels when you play it. So I know I can be consistent with that tank, but that tank's just OP as balls. Whereas this thing, I don't think this thing is OP whatsoever. I think this thing's pretty decently balanced. But there's not many tanks that I do feel like I can be this consistent with it. Because, I mean, I think I've played in this tank 30 games, like I say. I've got a 70% win rate with it, and I think I'm averaging, like, nearly 4.9k damage. Which is, for me, fantastic. I mean, most of my Tier 10s are probably average between 3.6 to 4k. So, yeah, that to be, like, the best Tier 10 averaging for me is pretty damn good. I mean, I'm excluding the Tyran, which is probably my best average tier 10, but that's because, again, that tank is stupidly broken. So yeah, but the ST2 is just, it's been, I can't understate. Oh, English is hard. I cannot understate how much I have thoroughly enjoyed this tank. It's been so much fun, and yeah, it's been one of those lines that I was really looking forward to them releasing this line, like many people, and it's not disappointed. It really hasn't for me. It really hasn't, because the premium, the Object 703-2 was amazingly fun to play, and it is fantastic, although I do think that tank is probably a little bit OP at tier 8, if I'm honest. I do think that one is a little bit OP. The Tech Tree tier 8, oh, there's the double barrel, let's go. Yeah, the Tech Tree tier 8 is pretty balanced. It's a pretty balanced tank. It's not very good when you're bottom tier, but when you're top tier, you can have a lot of fun with it, because just that double barrel mechanic is a fantastic way of managing to just squeeze out damage. The IS-32 is a fantastic tank. I think probably tier for tier is probably the best tank out of the line, but it's not my favourite. I think so far, actually, having played enough games now, this is my favourite out of the lot. But it's a damn good tank. Even stock, the IS-32 was really quite nice, because even the top gun from the tier 8 wasn't too bad, as long as you weren't afraid of firing premium ammo too much. It was a pretty nice, easy grind, if I'm honest, to get them to fully upgraded. And then you got this ST2, and this ST2 was just joyous. I've clicked with it really, really well, and it just feels like I can do some really, really consistently nice things with it. And I mean, you're seeing in this second replay, which is on Vineyards, we've pushed aggressively down the A line. We've lost a little bit of hit points because we did get flanked out. Oh, those successful double barrels are delightful. When you get that kill on a tank with the double barrel, it is juicy. I mean, we got that lovely shot, double barrel shot into the E75, and we did what, 919 damage, was it? That is beautiful. The Object 703? It's because I've just said the Object 704, sorry, was just sat there in front of us and went, go on then, mate, try it. And we went, well, okay, let's double barrel you, sir. And we shut him down. And yeah, we're up to 4.7k damage because we pushed very aggressively. We spotted a lot of people. We have a lot of TDs that were sat at C3, D3. So we had a lot of cover. So we've ended up getting a lot of assistance, like I say, 4.7k assists so far. And we pushed out 2,000 damage. And at the minute, it's very, very even. I don't want to push too aggressively into this Italian tank destroyer, because I don't want to give him easy shots. We go for the double barrel, straight into that lower plate. Beautiful scenes, and the IS-32 behind us shuts him down. Those double barrels are so satisfying. Now the Centurion AVRE is coming. It's like, oh no, that's an AVRE. Oh, thank the Lord he misses. He fires on the move. He misses. He gets tracked from the guys behind me. We're just waiting on the reload. Get out of here, Mr. AVRE. We don't accept your kind round here. And we get rid of him. We're up to 3.4k damage. Then a Chieftain Mark 6 appears and joins the fray. He gets a shot straight through our upper plate because he's probably firing premium and he was shooting slightly down, which means our upper plate then becomes cheese to him. Because let's say, if tanks are above you and they've got really good penetration on the premium rounds, the likelihood is they'll probably will go through your upper plate. So you do have to be very, very careful. We're going to try and side scrape him out a little bit. We're just watching his, because he's side scraping, so we're just watching his side to see if we can actually get a shot in. He's side scraping pretty well, so I mean, even I knew at the time when I took that shot, the likelihood is I'm not going to pen that. We're just looking for I was looking for a bit more of a shot towards his turret ring there, in the hope that maybe again I could get a shot in, but it didn't go in, and we unfortunately bounced, and he's kind of been farming the guys behind me. So I'm going to move up now, and move myself into a better position closer to this house to be able to get some shots into this chieftain. I'm hoping to possibly double barrel him, to be honest, because I can double barrel and then pull back and reload. So we've clicked left on the D-pad because, like I say, in all of these double barrel replays, if you want to activate your double barrel shot, you press left on your D-pad and you will be able to fire both shots. If you press left on the D-pad and you reload only one gun, it will not let you fire. So make sure that you've got both guns loaded before you activate that mode. So you can see this chieftain is... he's pulled all the way back, so we can't quite get a shot at him. There's an E4 directly behind, which is kind of awkward. That makes it so that, yeah, we're going to struggle to poke a little bit, because he's obviously got big alpha, he's got good pen, and if we misjudge, he's going to shut us down. But this chieftain's pushed over aggressively. Oh, there goes his head, I think. Yeah, there goes his head. Goodbye, Mr. Head of Chieftain. So, yeah, that chieftain pushed aggressively. Unfortunately for me, He shut down my IS-7, but we did manage to get the shot in to finish him off. Now I'm trying to think, what do I want to do? I want to try and get some shots into this E4. I don't like this E4 being full health, so if we can get some shots into that, great. Will I bounce him off my turret? There's a likelihood, but also, if he hits me, and especially if he's firing APCR, because we know how filthy APCR is on the E4, if he fires APCR, he could actually go through my turret cheeks, and I have to be careful. My Griller is getting out of dodge. Now, sadly, for me, because I don't have very good mobility, I'm in this position, and that is my life. It is what it is. We go for the double barrel shot into the lower plate of the E4, and unfortunately both shots hit the upper plate of that E4 and ricochet, so sadly we do not get that shot into that guy. So yeah, because of my, I mean, realistically, at this point, I probably could get out, but I could only pull back to about A7, and then I'd be screwed, because I can't get anywhere else. And I didn't really want to pull back to A7, and the reason for that is because if there was anything in the field at like E5, like that 3105 was earlier on, I would probably end up getting farmed, and I don't want that. So now we've got this Waffle E100 pushing up on our left, which is awkward. I'm thinking, can I get out? No, I can't. I just don't have the mobility. I'm basically in this position now. That Waffle E100 is coming after us. I'm thinking, well, I'm dead, so I'm just taking chances. We get a shot in. He misses his shot. I'm going to side scrape out on this Waffle E100. He's pulling back and getting himself safe. And what I should probably do right here is get this second shot in and then double barrel him. But the E4 starts to come out. And it's like, okay, hello, Mr. E4. We shoot him. He rams us. Unfortunately for me, he rams us out in front of the Waffle E100, who damages our Armour rack. He's got one left, and he shuts us down. And sadly, we couldn't quite squeeze out any more damage. We couldn't win that situation. But we finished with 11k combined. Finished with a close defeat, sadly. The enemy team did win that. We finished with 6.1k damage, 5k assist, let's say 11k combined. The high caliber, the second class, 1053 base XP on a loss. Sad, sad times, because we were having a pretty damn nice game there, but we just couldn't keep the damage going quick enough. We couldn't win that flank, essentially. And like I say, once we were committed to that position, we just couldn't get out. There was no chance. And sadly, we ended up running out of team with us. But now we're on to the third replay, the final replay of this video. And we are on this map, which is not South Coast. I keep trying to call it South Coast. South Coast isn't in this game anymore at the minute. Right, Serene Coast. There we go. Why do I keep thinking of South Coast? It's been so many years since I played that map. Anyway, Serene Coast. We're on Serene Coast. And on Serene Coast, what I'm going to do... I've said Serene Coast a lot now. Serene, so I got Serene Coast, Serene Coast. It's almost like saying Beetlejuice, isn't it? We are going to go up the one line. We're going to go up the one line because I can push up to that ridge, get hull down, spot the enemy team who attack me, and that way, hopefully, I'll get some assistance myself. And because I can get to this, if I get to the ridge line in time, because this is a risk, because the amount of times that the enemy team will get to that ridgeline way before you and farm you before you manage to get up to it is a lot. So I will say that this push is a risk. But, hello, Mr... We just get double... 795, is that it? Hello, rolls? That T-62A pushed out far too aggressively, felt the power of double barrel, and got shot from somewhere behind as well. And yeah, we're pushing up to this ridgeline. I say a lot of the time, as you can see, the enemy team do get to this ridgeline way ahead of you, and if you don't take the right path, it's quite often that you'll start to get farmed by the guys in that top area. And I'm fearing for the worst right now. I'm up to 1180 damage, and with both guns are loaded, which is good, because that means I'm at my maximum potential, and I am fearing for the worst. We do have, you know, a Waffle behind us, we have a heavy tank behind us, a TD behind us, which is good. That means we do have support, but I'm like, oh no, I'm not liking this. So I double barrel the Waffle E100. I could have stayed with the single shot there to keep my DPM high, but I just want this guy to get gone, because I felt like he was just going to YOLO over and then slam us with APCR rounds, and that wouldn't be good. The T-57 Heavy is firing heat, so we do have to be kind of careful here. And we get a shot straight through his turret front. Yeah, the reason I double-barreled that Waffle 100 anyway was because I just wanted to get rid of it. If he decided I was the one firing APCR, well, I was just dead. So if we could put him down to a one-shot for our friends behind us to finish him off, that's exactly what we did. So we go for the shot into the cheek there of the T-57 Heavy, dodging RT like Neo. We're in the Matrix. Shots flying around us. And we are in a... we're in a power position, really, because we are hull down against this T-58 Heavy, we're hull down against the T-57 Heavy, And that is not a position that they want to be, because I can go straight through their turret cheeks. And while if they hit the right spot on my turret, especially the 258 because of the high pen, and the fact they're actually firing heat as well, they could go through my turret, but I have more chance of doing that. It's a bit more of an awkward shot. Now the Ruthless is coming after us, and it's like, Mr. Ruthless, please don't. We tracked him in place to stop him being able to get round to get a clean shot at us. We're going to do it again. So we track him in place where we can side scrape out and make it as difficult as possible for that Ruthless to get that big shot into us. And thankfully for me, he doesn't manage to get that 183mm gun into our tank, which would have been a bad time. But we ricocheted the shot because we can side scrape in this tank, which is good. As long as we don't overexpose the cheeks on the hull armour, we can side scrape pretty damn nicely in this thing. And that's, like I say, we've blocked 3.1k damage so far, up to 5.7k assistance. That T58 Heavy's pulling back. We get a shot through the cheeks. I was contemplating the double shot, but I thought, no, you know what? No. We're just going to fire single shot because he's not going to be able to get back behind cover before I manage to get the full reloads in. And the Waffly 100 just drives around and RBRTs it, because why not? Just waiting for the reload, well, just waiting to try and angle for a shot. We get the shot into the cupola here of the 268 version 5, and we go for that double barrel, and oh my lord, that is satisfying. We double barrel the cupola of the 268 version 5. Both shots fly straight in. Thank you, RNGesus. And yeah, it's so satisfying. Now we've got shots at the arty. We get a nice shot in to finish that artillery. The Tyrann is in front of us, just waiting on that reload. And this is where I say, like, you know, the tank is super consistent in pushing out the damage. I just never feel like I'm out of the fight, which is glorious. We get a shot on the move into the Grill 15, which tracks him in place. Another shot on the move straight into his upper plate. A bit sad that we low-rolled there, so we couldn't quite finish him, but the Murat ends up finishing him off. I'm hoping to get another shot into this Tyrann, but the Murat's going through, the Waffly 100 is starting to go towards him. The Murat fires both his shots in, and the E4 shuts him down. We finished the game with a really great total of damage there for this ST2. We finished with the epic victory, 3 kills, 8.2k damage, 1100 assistance. The first class, the high caliber, the sniper, the 1715 at base XP, a really great game there for the ST2. Honestly, I've really loved playing this tank. It's just been an absolute joy to play. You can do quite a lot with it, and the double barrels are just so much fun. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!